Theresa with One Inspiring Woman, and today we're talking about some different rituals, and I'm going to break this up into a couple of different videos, so hopefully it flows a little bit easier. But I really wanted to do kind of some lunar eclipse rituals that will really help you kind of connect to each one. So I want to do one that's for a new moon, one that's for a full moon. That's going to really help us kind of like understand what we should be doing at that time frame to get ready for the eclipse energy. And a lunar eclipse energy is pushing us in different realms, and a full moon eclipse energy compared to a new moon eclipse energy is going to feel completely different, and they have different ideas and different energies in them. Eclipses are like super powered. It's kind of like Superman, super powered new moons and full moons, and they're all about helping us realign our life purpose. It's all about correcting like our personal path, kind of like what have we been doing wrong, what do we need to be doing, kind of like getting on your life purpose. If you haven't been feeling about it, this is kind of like we're going to get back on track with this. And that can really come in a couple of different times throughout the year to kind of help us move along. I think astrologers often kind of like realize like after the eclipse, really the energy stays high for about 4 to 6 weeks, and then it kind of tapers off and stays at that lower level until the next eclipse, and then it kind of like kicks it up again. I will tell you, each eclipse, no matter what it is, full moon or new moon, really kind of takes on, part of it is the sign that it's in. What is the sign that it's in, and how is that going to affect it? Because each one is going to affect things differently. But also, you have to also think about where the node is on. So it's a northern node or a southern node, south node on the energy, and that's going to be helping you kind of like pushing things into the future, or it's going to be putting things into the past. So it's kind of like, where is this pushing you? But all three of those parts kind of really define where the eclipse is going to be affecting us and what rituals that we need to do to kind of move that energy along. I will tell you that astrology really allows us to kind of predict with the eclipse energy, knowing what sign it's in, knowing where the node is in advance, and then kind of like where are we moving with this. It's going to really assist us to kind of really make our desires manifest for us. It can also help us amp up what's around us. So just know this is going to be a great one to kind of like do either one. And this is either for the new moon or the full moon is going to affect us a little bit differently. And which one comes first, sometimes that can even affect us as well. So know that all things are important when we're talking about our eclipse energy, and it can eclipse us moving forward really, really fast, or it can eclipse us moving backwards, kind of like into past things, and really fast, so we can kind of clear things out and then jump forward again as well. So just know that it's really important, and we're going to be talking about all things eclipse rituals for new moon and full moon. So let's talk about like rituals for our full moon. Well, it's kind of easy in some ways because our full moon is really all about releasing and letting go. And because our full moon is in an eclipse energy, it's even more profound about letting things go, things that aren't working for you, things that you're kind of like, that didn't work for me, or that relationship, or maybe someone cheated or lied or whatever else. Like, so let that energy go. And this is a really great time to kind of release to our full moon energy and kind of just like, let's let all of that icky stuff go and let's move into a healthier energy. And I think that's kind of one of the best ways to look at it. But you can also release kind of like I said, people that didn't work in your life, like your old boss that was like, we're going to let them go. We're going to let circumstances go or events go, that things that didn't go our way. We're just going to be like, okay, let's clear the slate. Let's get rid of all of that and move into something better. So it kind of really opens you up to be able to align with a higher energy, kind of like your higher self, like, yes, I can do this. Yes, I can make some better choices. The best way to use our full moon energy in an eclipse is really to be actively like cleansing your mind, body, and your soul. Kind of like, let's let it all go, because that moon is, like I said, got that kick from that eclipse energy, and so it's going to be like, oh my gosh, we're ready for all of this. So kind of one of the best parts is to kind of really gather all of your items, but it's kind of like, let's get all this stuff together and get ready to do this. I would say kind of some of the things that I would think about is kind of like releasing or letting go. Black tourmaline would be something that I would have. Maybe a sage stick. I would do something kind of like really like a strong, like let's let this go, like sage with let's see, bay leaves, sage with like lavender, kind of really cleansing that out. Or you could even do like a sage with like frankincense, and even like a Palo Santo would be a little great to like just let's clear this all out. And that's going to be that sort of thing. And then you're going to want like a feather. I love using a feather to kind of move that that smoke around and kind of like getting rid of that old trapped yuck energy. So that's going to be a really good one. And I would kind of say that like whatever space I'm going to be doing it in, I'm going to turn or light that sage first, and I'm going to cleanse that area, that circle first, and kind of like clear out this energy. And kind of like really get it to a healthy smoke. So kind of like it's really smoky and it's kind of going in at it. This is kind of like the space that I would start with is where I'm going to be doing my circle. But if I was doing it in the home, I would cleanse a little bit around all of the home to kind of lighten and brighten and kind of clear out that old energy from the house. And then the area that I'm going to be cleansing would be kind of like where I would leave the last of it, kind of that sort of thing. Using your feather to kind of direct energy like onto things, like things, places that you really gather a lot of energy, like your front door, your back door, the doors that everybody uses, like the place where you hang up all your jackets. Everybody, like a lot of people, I take off their shoes at the door, so like that would be something I would kind of really cleanse that area really well. Make special attention to doors, especially like if your door opens up onto your neighbor's door, kind of like across the street, if you got that energy, or behind you, you want to really cleanse out that energy, because their energy can kind of easily travel from their house, front door, back door, kind of like in. So we want to make sure that that's kind of like directing all of that, any negative energy that we're getting from them, but any negative energy that we have in our house, kind of also clearing that out. I will say kind of one of the things I would do is if there were people doing the ceremony with me or my ritual with me, I would also cleanse their energy. Now, I wouldn't use necessarily sage for that. I would use cedar. Cedar can be a much more cleansing or much more easy energy, and it's going to release that energy just like boom, it's going to be gone. So I would use cedar with that. Really, one of the things I would do is kind of putting black tourmaline. Black tourmaline really repels negative energy. So it's like anything that we've cleaned off and let go of, we don't want it to come back. So we want to kind of hold those corners of the house and kind of put that in some really good areas. So I would do in like the four corners of the house. If there's any area like my office where I have a lot of clients that come in, and not that my clients are negative energy, but a lot of times they're letting go of like, oh, I'm thinking about this differently, and kind of releasing that old negative energy that they've been holding on to. So I have some in each of the four corners of my office. So that really kind of just helps clear that out. I would change that out from time to time, or add a little bit more to it. It does start to fall apart as it kind of clears out the energy. You'll see it just like break apart on its own. Let's see, doing a black tourmaline in a crystal grid would be really great, kind of like the one behind me, or using the Metatron cube for that, but putting the black tourmaline in the four corners of the cube there, and then kind of putting like a crystal in the center, kind of like releasing that energy. Anything that also kind of just makes you feel more protected, like crystal stones, but I would also kind of like trying to think of a really I like crystal color just because it's like a really easy stone, and it really can clear off things really easily without like really forcing things to break that energy. But I will tell you, you want to keep your crystal grid very much in balance. You don't want all the stones on one side or bigger stones on one side. You want to balance those stones out. And then you want to place that where you're kind of getting rid of things. And as you let go of things, think about like, I'm releasing this so I can open up to new possibilities. I'm releasing this so I can open up to new opportunities and new relationships. I'm going to be letting go of all of this so I can open up into this part. That is going to be a really good one. I'm kind of entering like your higher purpose. Like, what are we going to do in this energy? Releasing energy to our full moon eclipse energy is really great, and it's going to set that right tone. And I would be doing that while the eclipse is happening or right before it happens. So it's kind of like, let's take all of that away and get rid of all of that. Now, kind of the next thing I would do is kind of, you could do something with a like a releasing meditation. And this can be something that can just be like either personal for you, or it could be something that you do as a group. And kind of one of the things I will say is kind of releasing old stale energy is really important. So when you do something like that, you want to kind of be in a place that you feel really secure. Wherever it is, for me, I like to have my back against the wall. So like if I'm sitting in a chair, I want it up against the wall, so I feel secure, so someone can't walk up behind me. I will say kind of doing several breaths to kind of get in that energy of just like releasing and letting our body go. And then kind of really allowing things to kind of like bring up anything, like asking my angels to bring it up to me, and whatever it is, I'm going to just blow that out of the way. I'm just going to, with my breath, I'm going to blow it out of my way and kind of just releasing that energy all over again. And it's a great way to visualize it. If there's something that you need to gift back to someone else, sometimes there's words that people have told us and it's kind of like we really like lay heavy on our heart. And so I would like literally like take that off my heart and literally going, I'm giving this back to this person, and I choose to no longer hold on to that energy. I may not ever trust them again, but I'm not going to hold on to the energy either. I'm going to release all of that and kind of let that go. One of the things that once we kind of like release this energy and we feel kind of like, I can do that, kind of one of the things to do is to cut the cords with things. A lot of times people will kind of overlook the steps. I call in Archangel Michael to come with me and cut some cords of the items that I've left. So even if I've let go of my boss that I didn't like, or this person that wasn't on my side and I thought they were, kind of like cutting those cords are going to be very powerful to kind of completely like, we're severing this, we're letting this go and not holding on to any of that negative energy, not letting any of that old stuff come back. And a lot of times that's the best way to kind of really hold on to like just letting that go and opening up to new possibilities. That is probably the best. I may try to do a meditation with this one, kind of like a releasing one, do it so I can post that out for you guys so y'all can see like a really great releasing meditation, because a lot of times people don't go deep and dark enough, not dark enough, kind of like deep inside. A lot of times they just think of like the last few years and they're not really kind of going through like, is there anything I can release from 5 years ago or 10 years ago or 20 years ago? Like what can I do? How can I release any of that energy and not hang on to it is going to be really, really important. Let's do some angel cards and get us a little bit deeper insight into all things moon related, full moons and new moons, rituals for kind of the eclipse energy. Like I said, they are very powerful and they're going to be bringing in a lot of healing for us. Our first one is the sixth house, and this is sustainability. I think this one is probably one of the most important ones because it is kind of like when we let things go, it really does bring up an amazing energy for us, but also it allows us to kind of open up to that new moon energy and kind of bringing in the new things. Things, if we're holding on to the past, we can't open it up and open to new possibilities. This is Saturn and this is the structure. Releasing this in a structured way is going to release a lot of old stuck stale energy in your body, in your system, and may even heal some issues that you've been having because you've been hanging on to old energy. This is the the 4th house, and this is the home. Our body is our home. And when we cleanse our mind, body, and our soul, it is going to make a big difference. It's kind of like doing a super massive spring clean with our energy, and it's really going to be helpful. Upside down again. This one is the opposition, and this is confrontation. This doesn't have to be confrontational. It doesn't have to have that conflict attitude with it, but it's really kind of letting it go and releasing that energy that just kind of been just hanging on, and kind of let that confrontation like go, because it doesn't have to be a confrontation. It's just a release of energy and allowing that person to kind of move on with their life as well. This is the 11th house, and this is all about community. When we heal us, we heal so many aspects of our lives. We allow other people to kind of heal themselves. When we do it, it's kind of like, I'm giving you permission to kind of keep moving forward. I'm giving you permission to heal yourself. And we do it in our families. We do it with the people around us, and we kind of raise everybody's energy up whenever we do that. That's a great one. This is solar calm, and this is all about clarifying. When we clarify how we've let go of things, and we're not going to do that again, we're not going to make that mistake again, we kind of make ourselves a new promise, and that's going to hold to that clarity of just like when someone else comes in and they may be a little abusive or something like that, we're like, we've already let that go. You can go. We're over this. We're kind of this part, definitely over this part. This is dignified, and this is kind of all about the strength. When we release things that we've been holding on to, it really does empower us to move forward. That is the most important part of this, is allowing ourselves to move forward in our world so we can keep learning, growing, and being the best person we can. I thank you so much for joining me today, and I know that we'll be talking again soon.